All right. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Team Chat. Today we are talking about setting up July goals and setting up July for success, basically, because it's already July and it's happening fast. And I did some things differently this month that I think will help my own business, and I think that that'll help your business too if you decide to implement them. It is only July 5th, and yet it's July 5th. So we need to get a move on. But what I did, I have this really great planner. It's from Bloom Planters, I believe is what the company is called. Yeah, Bloom Daily Planners. And so it breaks, yes, you have it too. Julie has too. So it breaks it up into the weeks of the month. And I've tried this in the past, but I haven't really paid attention to it. So I've kind of broken up the weeks of July into the four. It's a little bit over 4 weeks, but I broke it up into 4 weeks, starting with yesterday. And I just have some targets to hit every single week so that the month doesn't seem so overwhelming all at once. And you can focus it, a bite-sized piece at a time, taking it a week at a time, and then moving that into, a day at a time and focusing on when you can spend time on your business. So I really did take it a week at a time because we're going to be traveling a lot this month, and we've got a lot of stuff going on. So I know it's a typically super busy month for everybody. Like I said, we're already on July 5th. So we need to make sure that, in the next 2 days, 3 days, we're getting out our goals for each week of the month and what we want to do in each week of the month. That being said, if you have travel plans coming up, if you're flying, maybe make up, a big brainstorm of things that you want to do. Because a lot of times, I don't have Wi-Fi when I fly for the most part. Sometimes I randomly will, but it's a great time to create challenge group templates or come up with some ideas for challenge groups, to come up with some ideas for some posts, so that you can have that. So if you're flying, I definitely suggest using plane and, airport time to the most that you can, and definitely write things down. Type it up if you want to type it up, and then you can add it to the internet later. So those are just some of the little things. It's just paying attention to each week and knowing I'm traveling this week. I need to find my pockets of time where I'm going to get in my power hour, where I'm going to be able to stay consistent with my posts, where if I have a challenge group going, I need to make sure that those posts are already loaded so that those go, and all I have to do is check in. It's little things like that in planning ahead for a super busy month, because I know July goes fast, especially with Summit at the end of this month. So the more that you can plan ahead, the better. That being said, with each week, I want you to focus on a couple targets. I want you to focus on the number of people that you want to invite to your challenge group, the invite number. I want you to focus on the number of people that you're going to invite to coaching. And then the third target is the number of people you're going to add to your network. So those are 3 things that you can control in your business. You can't control whether they say yes. You can't control whether they decide to join you, but you can control the inviting. You can control adding to your network. So those are the 3 things that every single week I want you to have target goals, and then those create your month goals. If you want to add 20 people to your network every single week, that's, 20, 40, 60, that's 80 people in the month that you have. So, it's things like that that make a big difference in making sure that you can reach your goals, because you're focusing on things that you can control. And when you can control them, it's easier to just do it, to just take action. Because sometimes you're just waiting for that person to finally join you, or for something like that to happen. And when it doesn't happen, it's super frustrating. But if you're continually taking action and your goals are set on actionable items that you can actually do, when your goals are set like that, it's easier to gain momentum and stay consistent and stay on that path. So that was pretty much, I know that's like super simple, but that's something that I've done really differently this month, is to really have so like instead of focusing on like, I want to achieve Success Club, whatever, I want to help this many people. I still want to help that many people, but my goals are inviting 200 people to a challenge group, inviting 65 people to coaching, and adding 200 people to my network. Like that is my goal. And looking at that in like a month sounds super overwhelming, but when you break it up into the weeks, it's really doable. So, you know, your goals can be completely different than mine. And I wanted to show you, so like for the coaches, I said I'm going to invite 65 people to coaching, which is a huge, I haven't done that like all year. So that's a huge, huge goal. So what I did is I like crossed off, because this is 100, like it's a 10 by 10. So there's 100 squares in there. So I just crossed off, you know, the ones that I don't plan on doing. Like my goal is to get all of these squares filled in, and these ones don't matter because that's not part of my goal. And you know what, if I go over it, then that's great. And I can write down below, but this is what I want to achieve. So that's, I've said that before in team calls, but like, that's a good visual just to show you like, this is okay to do. If you say this is your challengers and you know, are newer to the business and you only want to invite 2 to 3 people a day to your challenge group, that's okay. Just fill in the amount that you want to have and then cross off the rest of it. These are completely individualized to you and what your goals are. But breaking it down into the weeks really helps you to focus in every single day and be like, okay, am I on track to hit this goal this week? So the week is 7 days. That's easy to do. So you can like pay attention and cross stuff off. So take some time. I think this maybe took me like 15, 20 minutes to really write out my game plan for the month, because this is going to be this is like a year ago, my calendar was booked. So like July for me has given me a lot of anxiety. So having it planned out and like really knowing what I'm going to do is really helpful. Even with my work schedule, I have a couple days where I have back-to-back 12-hour shifts. I know that I'm going to have to do a lot of work before those back-to-back 12-hour shifts come in. So I'm going to do a lot of work then. That way in my in-between, like when I work 2 12s back-to-back, they're really like 2 14s back-to-back, because my drive time is like an hour and a half. So by the time I get that done, I literally just sleep and get up and go to work. So my game plan for days like that, because we all have days like that. We have days where you can't get in a full power hour. We have days where you can't, you know, I'll be listening to personal development in the car, but there's days that you just can't get, you know, all those little things in. So you need to plan ahead for those days so that you can do all the work before those days come. That way during those days you have your post scheduled out, you have your conversations tabbed. Like I just keep them in my mind of like the people that you really want to follow up with. Like there's going to be follow up, you know, after that craziness, but in that craziness there's going to be a few people that you need to follow up with. So those are people I typically like write them down on a list somewhere. You know, it's stored in my phone so that I can make sure that I'm checking them at lunch and looking at my messenger and making sure that I'm replying to them and things like that. So it's really, really important, especially in these busy summer months, to just plan ahead like crazy. And I know it can be overwhelming, but it's going to save you a ton of time and a ton of stress, because I know that there have been trips that I've taken in the past where I haven't planned out, you know, what I'm going to be doing and what my month looks like before the trip and after the trip. And whenever you have things like that, it throws a wrench in your, I mean, if you just look at June, my June did not go at all as I had planned, because the Cavs won the national championship. And that was like, obviously a really big deal for me. And like the biggest deal ever, because Cavs are just really important in our life. And so that took like an entire week of my schedule that I wasn't planning, of just Cavs celebration. And I know that sounds crazy for so many people, but if you grew up around here, you wouldn't understand. But things like that happen, and it's easier if you know ahead of time so that you can plan for it. Like if I would have been able to plan for it, I would have had all my challenge group stuff scheduled out and ready to go. I would have had my posts up and ready to go for different things. Like when you know it's going to happen, plan for it. And so that you don't have to do as much work during the craziness. Because you can get so sucked into just doing. And then when something happens, you're like, crap, my schedule's all thrown off. I can't do what I was going to do. And it throws you for a loop. And then you feel like you're starting over again. And I don't want you to feel like you're starting over again. Even though if you need to start over again, there's nothing wrong with that. We all have those moments in our business. Definitely this week was that moment in my business. Because June was just not what I had planned. It was great. It was super great. But plan ahead and make sure that you know what your personal goals are, and make sure that your personal goals are associated with inviting to your challenge, inviting to coaching, and making sure you're adding to your network. That's the third one that we haven't really talked a lot about, but making sure that you're adding to your network. On my list, it's been on my list for months, but I have some Instagram training that I have broken up into the weeks, into what I need to do in the weeks, so that I can hopefully help you guys with Instagram a little bit more, because I know that a lot of the coaches that I've been talking to who are having huge success, they're really finding their target markets through Instagram. And I do have a coach coming on in August, one of my friends, Amanda Miller, she crushes it on Facebook. I'm talking she has 300,000 followers or something like that. 300,000 followers. And I'm going to have her talk about Facebook and how she has just blown it up organically. She definitely spends money on ads too, but she has done a huge, huge amount of her work organically. So I've got that coming up. We've got some really good things going this summer. 21 Day Fix is on sale. 22-minute hardcore is on sale. Know what your clients need. If they do not need the 21 Day Fix or 22-minute hardcore, make sure that you're pairing them with the right program, because that's super important. We want to make sure that we are getting our clients results. That is the ultimate goal, is to make sure that they are getting the results that they need. Do you have anything that you wanted to add, Julie? Do you think that would be helpful to break it up into weeks?
I think it's very helpful, yes.
Good.
I like the travel tips are good too, because I'm going all next week, and then the week after the next summit, I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do it? But yeah, it's good, especially if I'm in the car, I can just listen or read personal development or work on post ideas. So yeah, that's a good tip.
Yeah, it's definitely, and I mean, summer, we're all busy and traveling, and you got vacations and everything, and visiting family and friends, and it just gets crazy. So if you plan ahead for it, know what you need to do on those days, it just makes it a lot easier. So,
yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you for hopping on. I'll make sure that I get the team recording up here soon. But I really just want everybody to write out those goals. Write out your goals for inviting to your challenge group, inviting to coaching, and adding to your network. Make sure that those are the goals that you're focused on. And you're definitely going to help people. The more people that you invite, the more people that you'll be able to help. And don't be afraid to invite. You never know who needs your help. You never know who needs your help. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.